Hey everyone. So today I want to share some insights of what I get in terms of downloads that sometimes I share them like right away, and sometimes I literally have to sit back and say, "Oh my God, like how many people are even going to be interested in this?" And then I realize I've got to get past that. That is a limiting belief. So I've had a lot of interesting insights I've had where I want to share with you today about the fabric of reality. I really want to get deep and dive into, if you're someone who is interested in manifestation, you're interested in creating a business, changing your life, changing other people's lives through your business. You want to have something way more than what you have now in your life. You think big. You want to achieve great achievements in your life. You just are not available for mediocrity or mediocre life. Then this is going to be for you, because there's always going to be times where we get to a great place. We have really achieved great results in our life and our business. And then we feel like we hit this like stagnant part. We just repeat. We're staying in the same place. We don't grow. We're not going backwards. We're kind of just staying in the same thing. And not understanding why we can't make it to that next quantum leap is where I want to share with people how you do that quantum leap so that you're never, ever stagnant, because we were never meant to be stagnant. We're always meant to evolve, grow, hit that mark, evolve, grow, hit that mark, and always grow. That is who we are as spiritual, multi-dimensional beings. So to understand the process of this is how you understand your reality. So let's dive into that. Now, to first start off, I want to say that manifestation, whether somebody who's watching me, most of you are not going to think this way, but some people who come across my videos might think, okay, this is woo-woo, or it's inverted magic or whatnot. But the truth of the matter is, as co-creators, as consciousness units of God, we are all here to co-create. There is a purpose for you being here, and it isn't the way the system has conditioned us to believe, right? So we have a very big purpose. We are energetic. We operate on frequencies. Our perception shifts our reality. And what we believe internally is what's more important than what you see externally. So where I want to start with you today is like, we have been conditioned to live in a materialistic world. We're materialists. We believe and conditioned to only believe in a physical world of matter. There's nothing outside of what you see with your external five senses. All that you see is all that's real. We're left alone in this universe. We're an offspring of apes, and it was just a big bang, kind of fluke that humans came to be. So this leaves a big, big void in your internal self that desires and longs to be remembered. So whether you understand that you're creating and manifesting, whether you know that you have the power within yourself to change your reality, because your reality is malleable. It is not fixed. See, a lot of people believe that what they're looking at is all there is. And when you have a greater understanding of realizing that that is just a product of your thoughts and your feelings, and that if you were to change your thoughts and your feelings, the reality that you're experiencing shifts, what would you do with that knowledge? And all of us know that no matter what you do, no matter how much you shop, no matter how many things you buy, you can never fill the internal gap, the internal void within you, because that is a spiritual void. That is not a physical void, and nothing physical can ever fill it. If you look up materialism, it's actually the opposite of being a spiritual being. It takes you away and tears you away from the unity consciousness about being connected to everything and all nature. It's not about service to self. It's about service to others. It's not about living from just the lack and limitation, because we know that we're more than that, and we can create from an infinite field of intelligence. Now, all of you that are watching me have known that science has proven to us that there is an invisible field. They call it the quantum field, or they call it the ether. There is an invisible field of power that permeates all things, which includes yourself. So if you discount this invisible energy because you can't see it, this invisible energy is what's creating your reality right now, because you can't create reality without it. And this is the void that all of us feel when we're trying to fill it with the external circumstances. So when we realize that we have been all conditioned to be materialistic humans, we live in a materialistic world. It's all about service to self. It's all about survival of the fittest. We only know and believe in the tangible. right? All the evidence of our circumstances, everything that gives us ideas, everything that determines our self-worth or what we're capable of is all from the external world. This is backwards, and I've shared this before, but when you're conditioned to only believe in what you can see, then the most powerful part of you, the spiritual side of you, the soul side of you, is basically being ignored. It's not being acknowledged. It doesn't go away. It doesn't mean you're not connected to the universe, to universal mind, but you are not acknowledging the fact that there is another side of who you are. You're focused only on the material. And if you understand energy, what you focus on must grow and expand. When we are given information to only believe in a reality that's real through tangible matter things. And when we feel a void, why do you think it is that we look for those external tangible things to fill the void? Now, a lot of you know that in 2000, I believe it was 17 or 18, the WWF and the UN, they all did this nice little simulation of a pandemic. They wanted to simulate how they can control humanity and what behaviors they would get from humanity by plugging in these particular psychological manipulations. That's what the simulation was for. It wants to predict human behavior. And this is one of the things I want all of you to understand is we have all been in this artificial timeline. We have been given information so that they can predict and manipulate our behavior. So this is where when you hear people say, you think you're free, you think you're actually thinking thoughts that are your thoughts, you're not. And you know this because if you are conscious of your reality and you're suffering, and you don't have the success in your business that you want, or you don't have the beautiful, loving relationships that you want. If you want them, then why don't you have them? And you don't have them because your thoughts haven't been your own thoughts. And you've allowed an external program to contribute to what you create in your reality. This is where when you get this understanding, you will not be controlled any longer. This is why so much hidden knowledge has been kept from all of you. Because this will set you free. Now, some of you might not understand how you can control the minds of like billions of humans. So I want to bring this into context for you so that when you understand how you're being manipulated, then you know how you can escape it. What most of humans don't know is that you're being manipulated. You've been controlled since the moment you were born, but you don't understand because it's invisible. Like when you think about psychology, when you think about your thoughts, when you think about your feelings, when you think about your perception and your beliefs, all of these things are invisible to you. They're not tangible, physical things that you can see in the material world. So it causes confusion. It causes a doubt, right? It causes you not to believe it because you have been conditioned to believe that all that's real is what you see. What's in this materialistic realm that's tangible, that's matter base, is real. And what I wish for all of you is to understand, because most of you know that matter, anything that's created in physical form, is really 99.9999999% empty space. You are that space. But you focus on the physical self as if it's all of you, and it's the least amount of you. What does fear do to a human psyche? Most of you know the answer to that. When all of humanity lives from the external world in and takes in all of the information through the senses, which comes through the systems, rules, and manipulations, it's all based in fear, scarcity, and lack. Oh my God, there's not enough and you got to go survivor of the fittest. You got to go steal from other people. Many of you can relate to this when you think about the beginning of COVID. When there was toilet paper, everyone wanted toilet paper and everybody wanted all of this stuff because there was a fear that there was not enough. This is where I want you to understand that this manipulation is artificial. The timeline we're on is artificial, meaning it's made up BS. But just like a placebo, if you accept something, whether it's true or not, it becomes a reality. And when you can manipulate the minds of the collective, it's a collective reality. And this is why the ones that want to break free, the few, have so much trouble because you're going up against the collective reality. That's why you want to flip it on its head so that the collective reality are now free from this artificial timeline. So when you feel that your world, your life is on the line, you don't think, you react, and you do whatever it takes to survive. This is a false simulation. You're not on the brink of not living. You're not on the brink of dying, but you think you are based on the system's information and your five senses transmuting it. Where? In your mind. So what fear does is it puts you in survival mode. And if you understand the biology and the alchemy that takes place in your body through your mind, your thoughts, looking outside yourself at a chaotic world, receiving the information through your five senses that goes right into your mind, your consciousness, and it creates this reality. This is how you have been manipulated to create a timeline that is artificial and isn't real. And this is how you can escape the artificial timeline if you really understand your mind and yourself. But you first have to understand, first of all, how did you get caught up in this? How are you being manipulated? There's no way of us escaping something that we don't even know that we're in. So the manipulation is through fear because the body can't think. It cannot think. It only reacts when it's living in survival. Well, if we're living in survival every day, all day in our system, then you have a bunch of human beings that are reactive. You give them something to do and they will do it because they just want to survive. They have this notion, this idea that the system has given you that if you don't do this, you'll die. If you don't do this, you won't be able to eat. If you don't do this, fill in the blank. Survival. Let's go deeper than that. A lot of you have heard of the Dark Ages. If you look back into our history of the Dark Ages, this is when, the church came back into control because it always goes in waves. And this is where they did not want independent thinkers. They didn't want anybody thinking. Isn't that unbelievable? Like if you read about that Dark Ages, information, science, creativity, music, nothing was allowed. So basically what you're doing is saying nobody can access new information, only what I want to give them in the system. And it's all fear, scarcity, and you better follow my direction or you're going to die. So in the Dark Ages, this was real. You could not independently think for yourself. You had to think the way the system wanted you to think. And Galileo was one of them, but there were many non-conformative people that tried to think independently of the system, and they were either killed or they were punished. So then you got to start to question, what is so powerful about human beings and their ability to think? This is where I want you guys to go. Higher frequency thoughts are beauty, abundance, happiness, joy, wealth, health. These are the things they don't want you to independently tap into. You cannot be independent thinkers because you will tap into those ideas. So we kibosh those, stop thinking from up into the higher realms of your higher self and get you trapped back into the third dimension and think from the external world only. Do you understand how we trap ourselves into the same life, the same income, the same success? Why can't we push through there? Because you're living from the outside in. You got to go back into your inner self. Tap into those ideal thoughts, the thoughts that are independent from the system, and become an independent thinker. Then you look at the Renaissance era that followed the Dark Ages. And it's the liberation. It's like there's the ebb and flow of the information that was hidden being expended, being allowed to be shared again. This is where you were able to alleviate the controlling powers for just a small period of time and start to think independently again, to start to be creative, to start getting back into the sciences and being who we are as co-creators with God or source, the universe. We are here to co-create and create and innovate, not just create things that already exist. We are here to innovate and create things that do not exist. Create things from no thing into something. And that happens through ideas and creativity, and you do not tap into them in the third dimension. This is where your spirit and your soul comes into play, where they have ideas. Through your intuition, you receive them, and you start to work together to manifest a completely different reality. But it starts with your mind. It starts with your own individual thoughts, because those thoughts do not start from in here in the third dimension. These are outside of this third dimension. And outside of this third dimension, they're higher frequency thoughts. So as we go back into where we are now, it's the ebb and flow, the up and down. Here we are. There is censorship everywhere because the narrative or the system's control from the outside in it needs to be uninterrupted. It cannot have any interference because it controls humanity through fear, scarcity, which means they can predict humanity's behavior, which means they can get humanity to do whatever they want them to do, which allows them to create and manipulate this timeline. Because they're manipulating your mind. They're using you, and they're giving you thoughts to manipulate and to manifest a reality that you would never do because you're not consciously aware of the truth of who you are. But when you understand this is why censorship is here, because if you become an independent thinker, if you allow yourself to tap into your higher self outside of this third dimension, because you are a multi-dimensional being, these are multi-dimensional species that are controlling you from the fourth dimension and higher. So if they're multi-dimensional, do you not think you are? You absolutely are. But you think you live in one dimension. And if you want to create a life that you love, if you want to break free from this control so that you can live a life and create realities for you and your family and the world, you got to just take ideas from the internal, not the external. That's where it starts. Censorship keeps the control. If the truth of who you are and how your thoughts create your reality, and that frequency and consciousness play a big role in how you manifest your life and attract into your life what it is that you desire as a co-creator with the universe, this is your natural birthright. This is something that you were meant to always know so that you constantly co-created with the universe beauty, abundance, freedom, joy, and all of the beautiful things. Constructive thinking, not destructive thinking. So what I'm trying to share in these reels is to alleviate anything where you feel you're trapped or that your life is done or that your destiny has been crafted for you the moment you were born, or that if you look at your world, there's no evidence that you can do whatever it is in your heart you want to do. I want you to understand that is not a true thing. That is not true. That reality is not true. You have accepted beliefs that distort your perception, that are allowing you to believe this truth because that keeps you conformed. It keeps you trapped. It keeps you controlled. But when you want to release yourself from the control, you understand you are an independent thinker. You are able to create your reality when you stop taking information from the external world, your five senses, and you start listening to your spiritual senses, because you have faculties that tap you in to the quantum field that allow you to create anything you want. So this is where you need to understand you. How many of you have been in the zone? How many of you have ever been in what, Esther Hicks says, the vortex, where no matter what you do, everything seems to work out effortlessly for you. Like literally money starts to come into your business and you're not even trying, or you attracted your soulmate and you weren't even trying. How many of you realize that we've heard of resistance, right? We've heard of like, if you just let go and let God, or you just let go, then you allow the flow of this infinite intelligence to flow through you and to direct you, your thoughts, your mind toward creating realities of abundance and health and joy and happiness and peace. But resistance stops this flow. Resistance doesn't allow it to come in. It doesn't allow it to influence our thoughts in higher frequencies, in higher realms of thinking. It traps us into this low frequency fence that I've talked to you about, where we're no longer living from the internal world or living from higher realms of thought because we're multidimensional. We don't pay any attention to that, and we live from the thoughts that we're getting from the external world. You're not good enough. There's not enough to go around. You need a degree in order to do that. You need to practice more, or you're just not good enough. If people don't know you have a degree, that you are an expert in this, they're never going to buy from you. What I'm saying is the external world has been shaped to keep you limited and to never achieve what you dream about. But it's artificial. These thoughts we've accepted aren't real. So when you understand that and you start to take in ideas from the higher planes of your existence, you change the game. So if you're wondering, when you look at people, coaches online, anyone who's completely changed their life and it hasn't gone back, they have stayed consistent towards more and more life for themselves and their business and for others. They're not tapping into the world of the external. They're using their intuition. Your intuition is the ideas that come outside of this world, out of this world. If you live in the world and you create from the ideas here in this world, nothing will change for you. you'll keep creating the same things over and over again. So I want you to understand what it means when you're in the vortex, why things happen effortlessly for you, why when you're in the shower and out of nowhere you get these downloads, why when you're not trying to do something like get pregnant or try to think of something that you forgot, a word that you're trying to think of, as soon as you let go, things happen. This is resistance. This is energy. Okay, so what I want you to understand is when you are critically reacting to the world, you are blocking the flow of this infinite intelligence energy from coming to and through you. You've got a kibosh, you're totally stopping it from coming in. When you don't live from the outside in and you get into the shower or you meditate, you stop letting the five senses rule your world. This is when you have that influx of infinite intelligence that comes to and through you. Every moment of every day, this power, this influence is coming to and through you. This is your intuition is never on vacation. Your intuition is constantly there, trying to give you the vibration in your body to pay attention and listen to your gut. Your gut is your connection to the universal mind. Your brain is the connection to the outside world. You need to know how to navigate both worlds to create an abundant life, to create the reality that you love. When you live from the external world only, we have only been given half of the information of who we truly are. It's like giving half of the recipe to create a beautiful cake, and you only have half the recipe. So the cake is never going to be what you want it to be because it's missing a lot of ingredients. This is what's happened here. You plug yourself back into the internal world, the invisible realms that you exist on, and you create everything you desire because it's always about the greater good. Now, Einstein said you can't solve a problem with the same mind that created it. What I would like to say is you can't change your current reality with the same mind that created it. That's really what this means. You cannot think from the thoughts that you're getting from the external world that are creating your current reality. You cannot think from that level because that frequency is here. And it's giving you exactly what you have. So if you want something elevated, if you want something more, that means your frequency must rise. That means you must have a new idea that's higher than the ideas that you currently have. I have shared, if you're going to live from the outside in, the system has been put together so that you don't think big. You don't think from higher levels of frequency, higher realms of thought. This is why they want you to not be independent thinkers. They want you only to depend on the system to think. So when you think from a new realm of thought, when you go in and you take from your higher self those ideas, those big dreams, those, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. Using your imagination is the key to creating this in your reality. This already puts you into the fourth dimension. So you exit the third dimension, not your body, your mind. Your mind is multidimensional. Okay, your mind can travel to different realms and access different information, but you have been conditioned to believe and look at, with your mind, one level, one frequency, and take all that information and try to manipulate it, turn it around, put it in a different order, and create something new from that. The frequency of what you're creating from is the same. So new thoughts are new frequencies. New frequencies, if they're coming from a higher realm of thought, will bring in new realities. So what I'm trying to say is, don't think from your existing reality, which is your five senses of information. You need to tap into your higher self, listen to your intuition, and what new ideas come through there is what's going to create the reality that you're looking for. It's going to create the business you're looking for. It's going to quantum leap you onto a timeline that gives you exactly what it is that you want. But you have to take your mind there first before your body will follow. So this is something that I want you to understand. Frequency is the name of the game. Your thought is on a frequency. If you want something different than what you have, it's on a different frequency. You need to understand how to tap into that frequency so that you become a match for it. And that's how you call it into your reality. Now, this information obviously explains why 1% to 2% of the world who have changed their lives, have healed themselves, have created financial success and just absolute abundance in their life, they were willing to open their minds up to more than what they were given in this timeline. They didn't live from the outside in. Somehow, some way, they were navigated through their intuition to follow something that's outside of this realm. And it brought them unbelievable success. When you study anybody, or if you know anyone, a coach or a mentor right now that you have watched keep growing exponentially in success and wealth and impact in their business, they have tapped into something, and it's outside this third dimension, because you are a multi-dimensional being. You were never meant to just be a physical person, physical human, trying to create a world that you love. You're missing the most important aspect of yourself because they always wanted to keep you separate. So to give you a little more context, when you think about the 7 Hermetic laws, the first one is that the universe is mental. So this is where your new ideas, your thoughts, they come from the mental realm, okay? So you have a spiritual realm, a physical realm, and you have a mental realm. And the mental realm is the realm of new ideas. You either bring in new ideas into your mind and you create them, or you think from the same ideas, which is the external world. Either way, you're using your mental faculties, but you're creating either from an existence of something that you already have, or you're creating from something you don't yet have, but is available for you. It's a potential in the quantum field. So understanding that the universe is mental means that physical action is not the most important part to you manifesting what you desire. The most important part that most people don't realize is it's your mental aspect, the mental faculties of your imagination, your beliefs, your desires, your ideas, your thoughts. They are the beginning stages of what you create in your external world. So for you to really embrace the idea that you are a co-creator with the universe, and that you do have the power that was given to you from day one to create a reality of whatever you desire, as long as it's for the greater good of everyone and that it's aligned with natural laws, you will always get what you desire. So when you listen to people who are extremely successful, one of the number one things they say all the time is they listen to their intuition. Well, their intuition is giving them ideas outside the third dimension. They're trusting it, even if it's illogical. They're trusting it, even if it makes no sense. And what happens is they create a business that makes no sense. So if you want to live from the inside out and create illogical success, make a huge impact, heal yourself, find your soulmate, all of these infinite possibilities live there. And the physical world is meant for you only to experience what you create first in the invisible world. So if this is something that is attractive to you, and this is something that you want to learn more about you, your identity, your true self, then I have something for you. So I have created a 4-day micro masterclass called Frequency. We're going to be starting on Thursday, March the 6th. So this is for those of you who want to start, like this is an intro course, because to understand ourselves and understand the intricacies of who we really are as spiritual beings, navigating the universal mind and creating things through our mind or thoughts and creating it as a physical external result. This isn't hard information to navigate, but it does take an open mind. It does take a new way of understanding. And that's what I created this for. It's to create an experience and an understanding. Some of the knowledge you may already know, but you need to understand how you are navigating your reality and creating the timelines that you're on through the frequency that you're emanating. And when you learn how to shift your frequency, then you can learn how to actually navigate the timelines you want to be on. And this gives you the freedom to create the reality that you want. This is something that you want to learn more about, an introduction to understanding reality creation and how you are the one who's creating everything anyways, then this frequency micro masterclass will be for you. And it's $99 on presale. And I'll leave the link in the comments below. And I look forward to showing all of you how you can navigate your multiple dimensional worlds and create realities, upgrade them. Every time you feel like you want more, there is no limit to what you can access as long as you understand who you are.